I will be talking about the tragic state of leftist men, and that is because there has been a recent Glaze piece on Slate talking about our favourite Twitch streamer, Hassan Piker. Do you remember this gentleman? Do you remember this guy?
Vaguely. Isn't he the big brown waffle? The big brown bull's nephew, isn't he?
He's the man who still refuses to fight Sam Hyde.
Oh, really?
After all of this time.
He's an incredibly rich socialist.
I am aware of Piker, but I've not really watched any of his content. Every now and again, someone I follow will make a video about him.
I'm
not on TikTok.
He laughed when the Queen died. I don't. Video of him.
He said that America deserved 9/11. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Guy. Awful human being.
Yeah, that is pretty scummy behaviour.
His content is essentially him sat around watching stuff now.
But the reason for this is that over the past 10 years especially, the left have really struggled to find male role models for young men because it is an inherently feminized movement. They've been trying to, the Democratic apparatus, not that Hassan Piker is part of the Democrats, he's very critical of them, but there are other people like Dean Withers, who I'll speak about in a little bit, and people who are on the left like Hassan Piker, who the media is trying to push as, in this article, a left-wing Joe Rogan. Just a big, muscular bro who you can sit down and have bro talks with about things like trans rights and the oppression of minorities and all of those cool things that you and the bros like to talk about when you sat down chugging a beer. Yeah. Yes. I always want to, I always want to talk about feminist oppression when I'm at the pub, and that's what Hassan Piker offers. That, and also live reactions to videos, which is mainly consisting of him going and getting food while the video plays, and people pay money.
No, that's his content, yeah.
Yeah, people pay money for it. There's a very famous meme now.
It's really low energy.
It
sounds
is.
like it.
He needs to go get his chicken nuggies, so obviously he has to leave the chair there. The classic meme of live Hassan reaction, and it's just an empty chair. But as Nate mentioned as well, he is somebody who is very, very, very rich, is not afraid to show off how very, very, very rich he is, and yet at the same time still identifies as a socialist. He makes a lot of money, and we would also like to make money, and if you could help us make money, and I am not at all a hypocrite, because god damn it, I want your money, spend your money.
Unashamed capitalists here.
Right here.
No champagne socialism here.
No champagne socialism. Buy the shirts. Buy the shirts. Why haven't you bought the shirt yet? Are you a pauper? Are you too poor to buy a shirt? Buy a shirt. Buy a poster. Hell, buy a mug. It's not that expensive, loser. Anyway, moving on.
15 quid.
Yeah, see, there you go. You're checking out the price. You going to get something, Nate? You going to get something? I saw the car you rocked up in here. You can afford a shirt, Nate. Come on. Come on, don't get stingy on me. What's that in your pocket, Nate? Is that some money in your pocket?
It's my phone, mate.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, it is money these days, isn't it?
I suppose so.
Don't car shame me.
No, the opposite.
I was doing the exact opposite there. I can't get that car. Good.
It does annoy me when you've got these people that claim to be socialists or communists or even just leftists, when in fact their actions show that they are straight up capitalists, essentially.
They are part of the capitalist machine.
That is just flatly hypocrisy, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, but he can always justify it with any kind of logical tautologies to just say, well, socialism isn't being poor. Socialism is when you spread the wealth and yada yada. Actually, historically, socialism is when you're incredibly poor and nobody has anything except for the people in the high tower, which is a fair thing, but that's a very old criticism of it at this point. I just wanted to go over some of this article and how it presents him and how it tries to present him as being some kind of very positive role model for young men, because, we've all seen the polls showing the divergence in political ideology between young men and young women, where women are skewing increasingly left, men are beginning to skew increasingly right. These gender divisions are becoming very clear, because men understand that leftism is an ideology that inherently hates them. It promotes them to do things that are unmasculine, behave in ways that are incredibly feminized, and to hate themselves for being men and having masculine interests. So they see that and they go, I'll do the opposite of that, thanks. And they'll go to somebody like Joe Rogan, who just wants to, smoke a joint and talk about lifting weights and chimpanzees, bro, on his podcast, because it's just more appealing to them, right?
The right or even the centre don't talk about toxic masculinity, really.
Yeah. Except to say that's a ridiculous idea.
Other than to refute it. Yeah.
So what is it that somebody like Hassan Piker or some of these other leftist male influencers can present to these young men to say, you know what, I'm going to be a leftist. I'm going to be somebody who fights the righteous fight for the liberties of oppressed minorities and such. Well, most of this article is mainly just like a boring biography of the guy.
Okay.
Amazing.
You would hope that it was a bit more. Well, I mean, it's in depth in his background, but you would hope that.
Tell me about it, because I don't know a great deal about him other than he was related to Cenk. That's literally
basically. I mean, it sounds like he was related to Cenk. He went to university in Florida and became a guy who started to organize like nights out for a lot of people.
What did he read at uni? Do we know?
I think he studied politics at university. And then he was able to get a job part-time. Well, no, sorry. A job at the Young Turks.
Sure.
Doing sales calls, and then decided on his own initiative, because he was bored of doing that, to start recording videos for them, which they ended up editing and putting it on. And since then, he grew his audience initially through them, and then has moved on to doing his own streams on Twitch. He still associates with them somewhat, obviously, because Cenk is his uncle, and they interview Cenk a few times in this. But it's nothing that interesting. He's just some university bro guy who ended up being a massive leftist. Right. And it doesn't really explain to you how he became a massive leftist, other than, I mean, I would argue that in America especially, people of non-white backgrounds seem to gravitate a bit more towards those ideologies. Not necessarily when it comes to the like cultural stuff, like gay rights, but Piker did.
Right.
So why is it that he is an icon for these people? Well, let's find out. So, for many young male liberals, supposedly an endangered species, according to the article, yes, rightfully so, they've determined that the more tempered and polite avenues of left-leaning media, the nightly slate at MSNBC, the edgeless punchlines of late-night shows, leave them cold. Instead, they have found a common movement with this 33-year-old socialist dicking around on his computer. In that sense, Piker is in possession of one thing the Democrats desperately want now more than ever. Shortly after the presidential election, when it became clear the party was hemorrhaging young men on the right, the commentariat bemoaned the absence of a liberal Joe Rogan. And who could be the bulwark against people like Aidan Ross, Joe Rogan, Dave Portnoy, and Theo Von? And here we get a very suspect, as far as I'm concerned, paragraph from this author, Luke Winkie, here. So here you say, well, here is Piker. He stands 6'4" with a sharp jawline and ripples of coiled muscle. He is
sounds a bit homoerotic.
It does, just a little bit.
Twisted steel and sex appeal.
While I was spending time interviewing him, he offered that I oil up his coiled, glistening muscle. No, that's not part of the article, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. He is conversant in bodybuilding, gaming, anime, professional wrestling, and every other interest that tends to make up the media diet of boys of a certain age. His bulge and Calvin's thirst traps have started libidinal riots online. According to an unofficial census conducted by his community in 2024, his viewership is about 2/3 men. I don't know, that sounds really gay. Everything that they've tried to use to describe why it is that he is popular with men, it sounds... the way that this author has put it, you see, you could phrase it in a way that doesn't sound like you're drooling and typing with one hand as you're writing this. But the author made this sound really gay.
Sounds like he's doing something else with one hand.
Bulge and Calvin's thirst traps. They're somewhere between super gay and hyper gay.
Ultra gay, perhaps. Yeah. See, the thing is, I can kind of understand what they're saying. Like, oh, you lift weights. Yeah, young men are interested in that. You like video games. Young men are interested in that. You know, those are all interests that young men hold, which seems to me that this is suggesting that it's kind of like a bait and switch that he's offering. You join because he feels like he's a guy that you'd be able to get along with and go to the gym and do some lifting with. And then he turns the tables and says, so, trans rights. It kind of like bait and switch. Like, I thought we were here to watch professional wrestling and anime, bro. Why are we going to the Pride Parade?
This is so bizarre. Like, obviously, this is a leftist outlet trying to promote a leftist person, but using entirely their entire outlook is obviously quite leftist. So clearly they're gay. Well, obviously, look, you just don't write that. You wouldn't write that otherwise. You just would not write that.
I would never write that about another man.
Wouldn't like that
ever.
So yeah, obviously this person's gay. So you're trying to promote. No, there's anything wrong with that, but you're trying to promote like this guy as this thing to appeal to, men through a homoerotic lens, a leftist homoerotic lens. This is not going to appeal to anyone. It's just going to be off-putting.
And again, what is it that they're offering to young men in terms of a belief system and something that they can hold on to and give them meaning in life? Well,
what on earth is that quote? Sorry, horny in a repair. What is that?
Oh, this is when he was in when he was younger and growing up in Istanbul.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. But they say that he is pro-Palestinian liberation, pro-immigrant, pro-trans, pro-choice, and unapologetically himself. Does that sound appealing to most young men out there?
Obviously lives in a mansion surrounded by security.
I mean, I'm sure living in a mansion is aspirational, isn't it?
Sounds like a leftoid NPC, just ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, and it goes on to describe his bachelor pad, all honouring his unique strain of bro-friendly progressivism. Bookcases pack Naruto manga next to revolutionary scholarship. An oil painting of Bernie Sanders, depicted as a leather-clad punk singer, gazes toward the mile-wide kitchen island. The refrigerator brims with protein shake Zyn canisters in every flavour. Most revealing of all might be the sticker plastered on the oven. It reads, "I love being mad on the internet." Now, parts of that, protein shakes, fine enough. Having books, that's fine. But the way it's described, this man is 33 years old, and it sounds like a 15-year-old's idea of cool, right?
Yeah.
Why have you got an oil painting?
That was the thing I was...
Yeah, why have you done that?
That's sort of mad to me, to my mind, to my sense of taste. That's crazy. Why would you?
So, again, this...
It's like having a Che Guevara poster or something. It's like, it's cringe.
Yeah.
That's cringe.
Yeah,
to me anyway.
I mean, look at this. This is a picture of his thing. This might appeal to some people. To me, if this is your thing, that's fine. It's a bit childish. To me, these kinds of the way he decorates his house. Again, if it's what you're into, fine. But it doesn't seem that appealing to me. If this guy is the left-wing Joe Rogan, the guy that you can look at and go, that's awesome, I want to be that guy. And the rest of the article is just dedicated to going, oh, here's his life.
Why has he got a trampoline?
I don't know.
What is that?
I don't. Maybe that's a dog bed or something.
Oh, okay.
But it also doesn't help that they try and make it sound like he's the left-wing bro. He's the guy you could go for beers with and do bro things and go and lift and do cool things. And then he advertises himself. Like this.
Yeah, he's not remotely bro. Like, you don't drink beers. These people don't do this. Don't drink beers.
He went to Japan recently, and all of this was posted on his own account and by other accounts reposting pictures that he'd put up on his Instagram, which is just
oh, geez.
Really?
Yeah.
Christ.
There you go.
Come on, dude.
The disenfranchised young man of the West is going to be convinced by this. Oh, he's got big muscles though, but he's dressed like a gay cat fairy or something. Like the maid outfit that's not that appealing. Just bros being bros.
Don't you do this with your bros?
I don't think any of them are drunk. They might be on drugs, but I don't know. So...
What are they doing?
It's so weird. It's just weird.
It's just very strange.
Isn't it remarkable?
Here's some more footage.
The crossover between...
Finally, we've found the Joe Rogan audience is going to look at this and go, what have we been missing out on?
Yeah.
My God.
Forget muscle cars and UFC. Give me a bit of that action, please.
Yeah.
No, it's weird. The crossover
Give
in
me
the
trans
broadest
rights and tone policing.
in the broadest sense between leftism or socialism and the economic theory of socialism and being a sexual degenerate? How do they ever not cross over? Like, what?
Are they just trying to say that?
I don't get it. I've never really understood why there's the nexus there between leftism and being a freak.
There are a few
Why
like
is it so strong?
socially conservative leftists,
Sure,
but they're very rare these days.
No, there used to be. If you look at sort of 1950s, 1930s, 1950s, the labour movement in Britain, you had sort of hard-bitten miners,
Yeah,
right? The deadly serious
men's men.
Yeah, working men's clubs, stuff like that. A million miles away from what this is, whatever this is.
Let's not even speculate.
Let me qualify it with then, in the modern era, the crossover between leftism and perversity.
Well, let's consider what socialism and leftism seems to mean these days. Well, you can call yourself a socialist, but be a rich capitalist in actuality, and that's fine. But if you backtrack on sexual degeneracy, trans rights, toxic masculinity, any of that sort of stuff, that's beyond the pale. So being a leftist socialist these days is actually just about the degeneracy. It's not about the economics.
So you're saying it's hard baked into the
deal. That's all it is now.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that you can be this as long as you say Garfield says trans rights.
Right.
You don't have to read any Lenin pamphlets or be conversant with Maoist thought.
No.
You just need to dress up in a French maid's weird thing and... Okay.
Yeah.
Support Gaza as well.
Support Gaza, of course. Yeah. That's socialism.
Even though they would literally throw him off a rooftop.
And a reminder for all of the Manly Men fans of Hassan Piker that he's still ducking him.
A translator.
Have you got anyone you want to call out in the heavyweight division?
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker. I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house.
Or in the ring?
No, in real life. I'm going to stalk him and become obsessed with him and wear his makeup and his dresses and use his skin as a coat like the ancient Irish did.
Well...
He's still not answered the call. He's still not answered the challenge. You know, I mean, if you want to prove that you are like a manly man who other men can look up to, I'm an inspiration, big guy calls you out, you can make money for charity with it, donate it to all of your favourite causes. There's a lot of good that can come of it.
Now, I don't
but
know
you're
how...
a pussy.
I don't know.
So it's not going to happen.
I don't know how old Sam Hyde is, but I imagine...
About the same, similar age.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I was about to say I would imagine Hyde is older.
Maybe a little.
But it's obviously sort of, you know, not a complete slob or anything. Like, I'm not saying he's in brilliant shape, but I would have thought, if all things are equal, if Piker had any training, he might be able to beat... It's not like... I mean, Sam Hyde's a big bloke, but if Piker is in fact 6'4", why not accept it? Well, unless you're just...
He's a bitch.
A coward, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's Hassan Piker. So the left are not sending their strongest, but there is the new generation of concubines like Dean Withers. Do you remember that? In the lead up to to the election, when Dean Withers and all Harry Sisson and all of the Democratic twinks were saying about that you need to go out and vote for Kamala. The Navy SEAL who took out Osama bin Laden said that he would make them his concubine.
I do remember that, yeah. I thought that was funny.
Oh, I still love
My first
that.
take on that was like, that's really weird, and that in itself is weird and gay, but wait, it's actually just hilarious. It's actually just funny, obviously.
I don't think at the time he thought that he was being funny. I thought he was making a really great threat, but... He's rolled with it since then. So, good man. So, you know, it starts off all right, okay? Saying that he's going to the gym, good for your mental health, exercise, great for you physically and mentally. So that's a good start, right?
I can't disagree
Nobody
with that.
can disagree.
Good.
Can I just quickly ask who exactly, though, is Dean Withers? Is he just a social media guy, or has he actually got any sort of...
AstroTurfed social media influencer. Okay. Popped up out of nowhere alongside the Democratic TikTok Harry Sisson types,
David Hogg type.
Probably a recipient of USAID, I would imagine.
And then every single one of his posts, despite the fact he's done nothing notable, seems... Oh wait, I think he used to be like a streamer. where he would play video games and say the N-word on stream, which we'll mention in a moment.
But he's not like a young congressman or an up-and-coming star.
No,
in the
he's
DNC
just some kid.
He's just okay.
He's just some kid who's like, "Oh, vote Kamala. I hate Trump," etc., etc. So what? Outside of saying go to the gym, what is it positive that he can offer for young men who may have been feel disenfranchised by people and ideas that they see on the left? What is it they can do? Well, he can tone police people and morally browbeat you as you would expect a nagging wife to. The most masculine thing that you can do. He retweets these clips himself, so he's very proud of these little things that he does on his little show that I've seen popping up. And I just wanted to hear, like, if you're a young man, is this an aspirational way to live your life?
You call people racist when you yourself has said racist slurs. Y'all think it's okay to be racist as long as you apologize?
You think I'm hypocritical because I went from being racist to non-racist because I fulfilled the 3 qualities of accountability, apology, and genuine change in my character, and yet you think I'm hypocritical because I call out other individuals that have not fulfilled those 3 qualities and have been unapologetically racist since the 70s, such as Donald J. Trump. That is not hypocrisy. That is fact, sir. You only want to call it hypocrisy to obfuscate away from the fact that this 20-year-old white boy on TikTok and YouTube can hold himself to a higher degree of accountability than the president of the United States of America.
Wow, that was a slam dunk right there.
My gut reaction to that is just pipe down, little boy. Just pipe down now. We don't need to hear from some smug little child, some know-nothing child. Don't need you in the public discourse particularly.
So you've
not no value.
You've not been won over. Yeah.
Seems to be of no value.
It seems like the quintessential, just entitled bratty douche that has absolutely no. There's nothing about him. There's no substance. There's literally nothing going on upstairs because he's not lived. He's not had a life, right? There's nothing. There's no experience that he can pull from that is worthy of any discourse with anyone older than 5.
Also, it's just the same message that young men have been getting for ages, which is that if you have said something in jest as a joke years ago that didn't really mean anything back then, like he said the N-word a few times on stream when he used to play video games when he was like 15 or something. Well, you're going to have to hold yourself accountable to that and apologize for the rest of your life so that you can show that you're somebody who cares about the real issues. You need to hold yourself accountable 24 hours a day, every single week. And you just go, God, that just sounds miserable.
You know what I'd rather do?
That sounds really miserable.
Stop the self-flagellation.
Yeah.
And just enjoy my life.
Yeah.
Sounds like a much better option, to be honest.
And I would say never apologise. Never explain and apologise. When someone insists or tries to extort an apology out of you,
if that guy
then no, that's not happening then now. I might have done, but no, not now.
If the guy that he was replying to there said, actually, you know what, mate? I'm sorry, actually. You've convinced me. He'd go, no, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Because these people don't care about their apology.
Also, you get the moral lecture, you get the browbeating, and then the person on the other side of the call just doesn't respond because you're like, I can't be asked to respond to something like that. And then he sits there all smug like, haha, I've beat you. If I say something so stupid that you can't respond, that means I win because I got the last word. That's right, I did it. But the best response to this that I've seen, I just came across this clip the other day, is fantastic, is him basically doing that whole spiel on a podcast where he's being interviewed, and you get to see the reaction of an honest-to-goodness woman to this, which is, women, something that young men in particular quite fond of, traditionally, historically, culturally.
He doesn't look like it.
Possibly toxic masculinity. So you can get a real-life example, a case study of if you're a young man, you adopt this ideology, how will women see you? Okay,
when I was 14, I slurred, and that the N-word was a part of my vocabulary. The R slur was a part of my vocabulary. Is because that is caused by racist socialization and education that is absolutely deplorable. My perspective is what I did was wrong. 110%. It was gross. It was deplorable. I'm sad of the boy that I used to be, and I regrettable that I was ever like that. But where I stand now is after being exposed to information, knowledge, and education. that I use to better myself, that I use to finally make the recognition that I shouldn't be saying these words.
Sure.
I then decide to turn around and I try to share that with as many people as possible. And in all reality, that is my motivation for doing what I do today. Point blank period. Said slurs for a very long time. In fact, I've openly talked about how I have used slurs in my past on my platform for, like a year, because I think that is a very important point for education. Like the point is that we can change, like the socialization of the youth. The point is that if I can benefit and change my perspective and my worldview to be more beneficial to those around me because of this education, so can other people.
Why are you laughing? Why is this funny?
I think this is so funny.
Why? That was a very deep question.
This is, by the way, this is
Just get laughed at in the face. Because, yeah, you can go on all that spiel. You can come across as I'm so sincere right now, guys. I believe in it so much. I've changed. I've done it. And some people will just see straight through you because it is bollocks and it is embarrassing. So, yeah, the left still not sending their best. When it comes to young men, I think that the gender divisions are going to continue.
Yeah. Her reaction was quite funny.
That was gold.
He just goes through all of that and she just laughs straight in his face.
Doesn't even try and cover it up. No, I find this so funny.
Yeah.
It's funny how even little children can quite often tell a liar or just insincerity, right?
Yeah.
Most women hate weakness. If you find a woman that likes weakness, that likes to be the absolute dominant partner in a relationship, that's going to be a horrible relationship for you, bro. Most normal women, they don't like it. They don't want you to be like that, right?
They don't want to be going out with someone who can't protect them.
Right.
Ultimately,
it sort of boils down
and
to
somebody who won't challenge them as well. This is the point that's always made about the shit testing.
I was just going to talk about.
They want you
about shit testing.
They want you to have the
be able to
say no.
You've got to be able to step up to that shit test. Quite often, in my experience,
almost every single day, almost every single conversation has a little tiny shit test nestled in it somewhere. Not that I would. Not that I'm in bliss.
If you would like to watch the full uncut version that is also uncensored, head on over to lotuseaters.com to find out more.